women and children held in connection with terrorist activities be released. And joining me now from our studios live in Abuja is Dr. Abati, the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity. Sorry for the trouble we had earlier. But if you can hear me now, there's been a lot of speculation about why the President has done this right now. And since you're here officially, can you tell us what he hopes to achieve by doing this now?
Well, the basic issue is that the women and children who are going to be released, they are persons, as the minister said earlier, who found themselves under vulnerable circumstances. To the extent that there were persons who were taken into protective custody and against whom no case can be established that they were either accomplices or that they were directly involved in any act of insurgency and terrorism. Investigations having been carried out indicate that these persons should be released. Otherwise, this will amount to a violation of human rights. And the intention of the President in all of this is not to violate anybody's human rights, but to ensure peace, security, and stability. And based on the recommendation of the Committee on Dialogue, these persons, have been, scheduled for release. So the whole point is about their basic rights, and it's also a way of showing that government, in pursuing the military option, is committed to staying within the rules of engagement and international best practices. Well,
it's interesting that you say some of these women were found to be under vulnerable circumstances, because some reports say that they were accused of gun running. And we know that when terrorist activities happen in other places in the world, America inclusive, the person who is an accomplice is just as guilty or just as badly seen as one who has actually carried out the act. So which is it, and what has been considered in this particular case, or while these women have been released?
Well, the basic point is that if anybody is found to be an accomplice or, a case can be established against that person, of course, will be brought to justice. What should be noted is that the Nigerian government, the state, will not condone any act of impunity. And where it can be established that anybody has been engaged in suicide bombing or engaged in any act of terrorism, whether that person is male or female, the state has an obligation to ensure that the law is applied accordingly. So in this particular case, the persons to be released, there are persons against whom no case has been established. And the point that everyone must note is that this is not a case of a blanket release, of all persons. There are persons who have been released on the basis of the fact that, they cannot be proven guilty. And the law is that you are innocent until you are proven guilty.
Okay, for the sake of looking at the argument, who have these people been released to? Because when we look at the Boston situation going on in America, even though the principal people have been caught, it's still open, it's still ongoing, and people are being caught every day. Some people would say it might still be a good idea to keep an eye on them in the light of what is going on right now in the country, or have they just been asked to go?
Well, you can be sure that apart from the military operation that is going on, that the Nigerian state will continue to keep an eye on the places that have been identified as centers of activities for insurgents and terrorists. And even where, a person who is just a wife of a terrorist or a child of a terrorist has been released on the basis of the fact that, there is no guilt